Charlottesville, 2017. White nationalists in white polo shirts with crew cuts and torches shouting blood and soil, and Jews will not replace us. The Unite the Right rally, 8 months into Donald Trump's first term, revealed the dark underbelly of our politics. During the rally, an extremist intentionally crashed his car into a group of counter-protesters, killing a woman. We quickly sought to make sense of this hatred and this violence, but more specifically, what exactly did they mean about being replaced? There is a dangerous, once fringe conspiracy theory behind this grievance, known as Great Replacement Theory. In the simplest of terms, it's the idea that there is some master plan to diminish white power. It's a far right-wing conspiracy theory that holds that powerful elites are intentionally replacing white people in Western nations with non-white immigrants. Peddlers of the conspiracy say Jewish people are behind the so-called replacement plan, that Jewish elites are bringing immigrants to America to diminish the influence of white Christians, or that Democrats are encouraging immigration in order to increase the number of more like-minded potential Democratic voters, or the two of those together. Ironically, the idea originated in a foreign country by French writer Renaud Camus, who wrote in 2011 that a large influx of Muslim immigrants to France were intentionally welcomed by elites to ruin French society. The theory metastasized online among the American far right. Message boards on the website 4chan discussed the idea that white people in America were victims of genocide and that immigrant voters would dilute white Americans' political power. In 2018, a man killed 11 people at the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh shortly after posting on a far-right social media site that Jewish immigration organizations were bringing migrants to the U.S. to, quote, kill our people. The next year, a gunman killed 22 people at a Walmart in El Paso, Texas, targeting a Latino community and leaving behind writings that referenced the Great Replacement multiple times. But then this radical conspiracy theory started to seep from the fringe of the right wing into the Republican Party's center. Donald Trump and his allies ramped up anti-immigrant rhetoric, leaning into the framing of migration to the U.S. as an invasion. You'll probably remember the looming migrant caravan from South America, which never came. By the way, it served as a rallying point for the GOP during the 2018 midterms. Fast forward to 2021. Replacement theory received a cosign from Tucker Carlson on his Fox News broadcast.
I know that the left and all the little gatekeepers on Twitter become literally hysterical if you use the term replacement, if you suggest that the Democratic Party is trying to replace the current electorate, the voters now casting ballots, with new people, more obedient voters from the third world. But they become hysterical because that's what's happening, actually. Let's just say it, that's true.
That was April 8th of 2021. On April 14th of 2021, this racist anti-Semitic conspiracy theory would end up on the congressional record, spoken by Republican Congressman Scott Perry of Pennsylvania in a Foreign Affairs Committee hearing.
For many Americans, what seems to be happening, or what they believe right now is happening, is what appears to them is we're replacing national-born American, native-born Americans to permanently transform the political landscape of this very nation.
How quickly an idea can spread. And in the meantime, it continued to inspire terrible violence. In 2022, an 18-year-old went to a grocery store in a predominantly black neighborhood in Buffalo, New York, and killed 10 black people. The 180-page screed that he wrote beforehand was filled with racist rants about the replacement and genocide of white people, and he told the judge in his first court hearing he wanted to prevent the elimination of the white race. And now Great Replacement theory seems to be driving many of the Republican policies shaping our government and our lives today. During the 2024 presidential campaign, Donald Trump falsely suggested that Democrats were shuttling illegal immigrants into America to vote for them in the election. With his return to the White House, ICE sweeps cities indiscriminately, rounding up neighbors, parents, families, including people who are here legally in some cases. ICE is also recruiting new members with a not-so-subtle nod to this once fringe theory. The DHS social media page shared this image with a recruitment link. Uncle Sam choosing between homeland identity and opportunity in one direction, and invasion and cultural decline in the other. Just a few weeks ago, the dog whistle turned into a blowhorn when the Republican Senator Eric Schmidt of Missouri said this out loud at a conservative conference.
They believe they can build a new America with the new myths, the new people. But America doesn't belong to them. It belongs to us. It's our home. It's a heritage entrusted to us by our ancestors. It's a way of life that is ours and only ours. If we disappear, then America too will cease to exist.
Great replacement strategy, which is well underway every single day on our southern border, is a strategy to replace white rural America with something different.
Charlie Kirk's death is tragic, and any life lost to gun violence leaves pain and grief in its wake. But let's be honest. This is what happens when you build your career defending an unchecked gun culture. Kirk and his MAGA movement spent years sneering at gun control, mocking regulation, and celebrating the AR-15 as a symbol of freedom. Now he becomes another grim reminder of the truth. You reap what you sow. The blood spilled by America's obsession with guns doesn't spare its loudest cheerleaders and proudest advocates. But Kirk's legacy isn't just about guns, it's about fear, especially, specifically the fear of losing white power. Strip away the slogans, the campus stunts, and the endless attacks on woke culture, and you'll find one theme at the core of Charlie Kirk's politics, and that is white replacement, also known as the Great Replacement Theory. This is a paranoid belief that white Americans are being replaced by immigrants, black and brown citizens, and anyone who dares demand equality. Let's be clear, DEI is not about replacing anyone. Racial equality is not about tearing down white America. Immigration is not a plot. These are scarecrows Kirk and his MAGA allies set up to keep white conservatives clinging to supremacy. What DEI does is expose inequity in hiring, education, and leadership. What racial justice does is challenge a system that has long given white Americans a head start. What immigration does is continue the American story, because unless you're indigenous, your ancestors got here the same way from somewhere else. And the hypocrisy is glaring. MAGA screams about freedom, but supports state bans on DEI, book bans in schools, and even government crackdowns on majority black cities. They claim they're against big government, yet cheer federal agents flooding the streets when immigrants, protesters, or liberal cities are involved. They whine about cancel culture, but cancel anyone who dares challenge their myth of white victimhood. Meanwhile, the evidence of what really threatens America is right in front of us. The Buffalo shooter in 2022 murdered 10 black people in a grocery store because he believed in white replacement theory. The El Paso shooter in 2019 killed 23 people after ranting about a Hispanic invasion. These killers weren't radicalized by DEI workshops or immigrant families. They were radicalized by the same fear-mongering Kirk spent his career promoting. So here's the uncomfortable truth MAGA doesn't want you to face. America is changing, and that change isn't about white people being erased. It's about them no longer having exclusive control. Diversity is not death. Inclusion is not tyranny. Immigration is not invasion. It's growth. It's the future, and it's unstoppable. So yes, Charlie Kirk's death is tragic, but it's also symbolic. When you push fear over facts, when you cling to supremacy over equality, when you defend guns over lives, you set the stage for destruction, including your own. America doesn't need more Kirk-style paranoia. It needs courage to embrace equality, DEI, and cultural respect. That's not weakness. That's survival.